It is raining now. As I sit here writing, I can hear the rain dripping off the roof. At times like this, I wonder if we will spend some of these quiet times together, if our pattern of life will be changed completely. I was watching a show on television tonight where the little girl was dropping a few hints to a man in order to do a little matchmaking. Right away, of course, I thought of Janice. Some of the questions the little girl asked the man were very similar to the questions Janice asked you and I. I can't remember if I ever told you that it was actually her doing that got us engaged that day. She asked me that Sunday night why I didn't take you to town the next day. I said that you were going up with Myrnie. Well, she said you could take her. You could take her, couldn't you? I said, yes, I could. That's when she ran to the kitchen and told you I was going to take you to town in the morning. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have become engaged until you came back to Canada. Sometimes I wonder if it was the right thing to do. I did think perhaps it would bring you back sooner, but I think maybe when you became sure of me, you decided you could take your time knowing that I would be waiting. I do hope you received your gift. It wasn't very valuable, but I would hate to think that you wouldn't receive anything from me for Christmas. By the way, Peggy, the trunks will fit quite easily into the ranch wagon, so you don't need to worry about that problem. As I write this letter to you, I think of the Christmases when I was a child. It was not so much what was in the package that counted, but the joy of opening the present and wondering all the while, what did it contain? That is the way with my letters. There's not much in them, but I'm sure you will enjoy opening them and wondering what they do contain. You spoke in your letter of how love grows even though we are apart. It is a rather strange thing, when you stop to give it some thought, that even though we have been apart so very much longer than we were together, love still not only survives, but actually does grow. One of the wonders of nature, I guess. Well, my darling, I guess I can go to bed now. It has helped for me to write these few thoughts to you and get them from my mind to you. It will be nice when we are together and can speak these thoughts as we think them. Or will we think it is not necessary to speak our thought of love to each other when we are an old married couple? My mother was saying tonight how very glad she was that your mother was going to be here too. I guess she is looking forward to having company. I have told you she doesn't like staying alone nights, and she realizes that we probably will be going out quite a lot for the first while at least. I hope your mother will get to like the country living. I realize it will be a great change for her. I do love you, Peggy, and hope that we will all find happiness together with a minimum of difficulties. One thing I won't have to worry about, sweetheart, when we have our first quarrel, you won't be able to run home to Mother. I must tell you once again what a wonderful, lovely girl I think you are, and how very fortunate I was in finding you, and how lucky I am to have your love. Good night, my darling. As ever, Art. I love you truly. I wish you were here.
That's nice.
Ontario, Canada, January 2nd, 1964. My darling Peggy, my first letter of 1964, as you can see I wrote 63 first. Of course I will probably do that for quite some time. I got 2 more letters from you Tuesday, one mailed the 24th and the other the 21st, which made 4 letters in 2 days. It would be awfully nice to get that many all the time. I would have answered them last night, but was still recovering for New Year's Eve. I went to the hall with the folks, Hugh and Bernice, Grace and Jack, George and Betty, and David and Sylvia Watam. You, of course, haven't met the last couple, but I mentioned their name because you will no doubt meet them, and it may help you to remember their names. I recall what a memory for names you have. We all met in Hugh's basement, and after a few glasses of punch, went on to the dance. There was a real big crowd, about 700, I guess. It was a very nice time, but how complete it would have been if you had been along with me. The others all wished for you too. We came back down to the basement again after the dance, and 2 other couples joined in also. It was just about daybreak when the party broke up. Of course, that is the usual hour for New Year's Eve, though. However, darling, I stayed quite sober and had no trouble getting home at all. I don't think I would have gone to the dance at all, but Donald and John came here to stay, so I thought it might be quieter to go to the dance. There was quite a few couples from Cressy at the dance, so when 12 o'clock rolled around, I had my share of New Year's kisses, but the husbands all said they would get even with me next year, so you will have something to look forward to, dear. Oh, how I did wish you could be there. I'm sure you would have gotten a kick out of it too. How come you didn't have your usual New Year's dance? We had a lot more snow yesterday and last night, but today was quite mild, 32. And it's supposed to be 35 tomorrow. By the way, honey, when I said you have to be good all year in order to get a present, I didn't mean you couldn't go out with the girls or anything like that. You just have to be good to me all year, okay? And as for putting your cold feet on me, well, I don't know as I'll stand for that. Maybe I'll get you a hot water bottle. No, I never did get the wood sod, Peggy. By the time the guy who saws it got up the ambition, there was too much snow around the pile. Maybe when we have our January thaw, I'll get it done. We burn wood in the stove and oil too. By the way, Peggy, Janice got a camera for Christmas, so I suppose you will be getting lots of pictures from Canada now. Mother got her one, and she spends $5 for each of the children's gifts and managed to get a camera for that much, so I'm anxious to see what kind of pictures it takes. Janice wanted a camera of her own, so she wouldn't have to borrow Jeannie's. She took a picture Christmas Day of Hugh, Jack, and I, and also one of me alone, she said. And she was going to send them to you. However, you know Janice, you may have to wait a long time for them if they do turn out. We are snowed in again at the moment. The last time the plow cleared our way, an axle broke, letting one back wheel fall off. And you got it depicted, but it wasn't fixed yet. The only way I can get out now is with the tractor, so I can't go very far. Well, darling, it is just 16 weeks until you will be arriving in Canada. It doesn't seem so long to say it, but I'm sure it will be a long 16 weeks. I don't want to go to any more parties until you can go with me, so I guess I'll just be going out when it's necessary. Some of our parties just aren't as much fun anymore. I guess I must be in love, don't you think? I am in love with you, darling, and look forward so much to having you with me whenever and wherever I go. And of course, just as much so when I don't go, perhaps even more so. Yes, darling, it would be so wonderful having you around. I do hope that married life will be everything you expect of it. Otherwise, you could get very bored with country living. I'm in the house so much this time of year that I would probably be teasing and tormenting you so that you may get tired of me and put me out. Of course, we could always go out and have a snowball fight. Janice asked me Christmas Day if you could swim yet. I told her yes, that you had been taking lessons and would probably be a better swimmer than her next summer. I didn't know that you were still afraid of the water. However, I'm sure you will do better. Well, I must say goodnight again, darling. I will write again real soon. I love you, Peggy, my darling. Forever yours, Art.
Northern Ireland, Thursday, February 20th, 1964. My darling Art, what a pleasant surprise to get a letter from you tonight. I already had got 2 letters from you this week. In the same mail today, I had a letter from Grace and a card from Bernice and Hugh. Wasn't that a coincidence? Grace was saying that she thought there might be a vacancy for a grade 6 teacher in her school. I'm not sure whether or not I would like to start off with as old an age group as that. And it would also involve taking grades 7 and 8 for phys ed. Anyway, they might have someone in mind for the position. Any word of the teacher moving from your local school? I still think I would like to try my hand at some other work before going back to teaching. About the trunks. They have to go through customs, so I don't think it would be possible to ship them to Picton without me first waiting to let the customs examine them. I'll inquire, though, to make sure when shipping the mattress. I'll give your address. How will it be delivered to Cressy? As soon as I hear the date of shipping, I'll let you know. Grace was telling me that she was considering asking for a day off so that she could go to Montreal with you and Jack. I would be very pleased to see her there. We have been hearing about the Beatles' reception in America and are rather surprised at it. They have a great number of fans among the teenagers here too, but they don't play my kind of music. Frank Sinatra, Sr., is still my favorite. If you got a Beatle wig, it would keep your ears warm while doing the chores. I don't know, though, what reaction you would get from the cows. There was no badminton last night, so I stayed home and, yes, washed my hair. I have to wash it within the week now that it is getting longer so that some curl will stay in. I'm hoping to be able to wait until the beginning of April before getting the permanent. Then it should be really curly when you see me in less than 9 weeks. It's great how time is flying now. It makes me feel very happy to think that I will be with you so soon. 2 months tomorrow. At the PTA quiz on Tuesday night, we lost by half a mark. Everyone was disappointed, but it really suited me not having to take part again. Of course, they would have gotten a replacement for me, though no one is ever over anxious to be on the team. My, but I do love you, Art. Yours forever, Peggy. Liverpool, England, April 14th, 1964. Dearest Art, just a brief note to let you know we'd reached Liverpool after a rough crossing. Neither of us were seasick, but we're still hoping it will be calmer tonight. With regard to where we stay when we reach Canada, I thought that the arrangement was that we went to your place first, but I'll leave it to you to make what arrangements you think best. The main thing is that I'll be near you. I've no facilities here for letter writing, so please forgive this brief note. Looking forward to seeing you next Tuesday. I love you very much. Yours forever, Peggy.
Peggy and Louis arrived safely in Montreal, where they were met by Art and his brother-in-law, Jack. Peggy and her mother moved in with Art and his mother, Ola. Art and Peggy were married on June 6, 1964, less than 2 months after they were reunited. Ola died peacefully in her sleep less than 9 months later from heart problems. Within a year of her passing, Art and Peggy had their first child, Michael. A year after that, they had a daughter, Trish. 4 years later, they had me, Colin. Lily got to know all 3 of her grandchildren before Alzheimer's took her mind in the early 1980s, and she passed away in 1988. Peggy and Art stayed together in the same house for 39 years, until Art died of prostate cancer on July 2nd, 2003. Sorry. His final 2 days were spent in the hospital, Peggy by his side. Despite being heavily drugged, Art twice awoke to tell Peggy that he loved her. The second time, he used all of his remaining strength to lift himself up and give Peggy one last kiss. They shared 40 years together, filled with some tears, a lot of laughter, 3 children, all of whom were in the hospital with him when he passed away, 2 daughters-in-law, Charlotte and Jordan, 3 grandchildren, Ryan, Mitchell, and Allison, and a 4th, Ethan, that came after he passed, and countless friends. Despite all that they had done over their 4 decades as a couple, upon Art's passing, Peggy said, "I just didn't think we would have such little time together." They took a leap of faith, each with their whole heart. They stayed the course, they kept love alive, received the greatest reward, and passed it on through their lives, and through carefully keeping and now generously sharing these letters. I hope you enjoyed it.
We actually prepared a musical present for Peggy, her favorite